First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for paying attention to the different things that those of us have been fortunate in life to do, and I'm really honored to be able to speak here for this. I grew up in a little town in McAlester, Oklahoma, to the 9th grade, and then we moved to Texas, and my mother and dad were divorced when I was in the 4th grade. So my mother raised 3 boys on a teacher's salary. And we lived in a little 550 square foot home there in McAlester, and then moved to Texas. We really moved up in the neighborhood. We moved to a 750 square foot home. But my mother raised 3 boys on a teacher's salary, and she got no help from anyone. And so we, myself and one other brother, both got our college degrees. Our other brother, straight out of high school, well, when I was in high school, I worked for a guy named Don Whitaker, and I was a stock boy for him while he was in high school. Well, I was in high school, and he eventually, Sam Walton hired him to come and run Walton's Five and Dime, and he had met my brother, my younger brother, while I was working there, because he'd come in and have him work on weekends with us, and we would do all that. But I was a stock boy for him 2 years, and Mr. Whitaker became the first store manager that Walmart had, and he hired my brother to be the second store manager the 7th store manager that Walmart had. So we had a good, my other brother, and he became very successful at Walmart. Now he owns on Grand Lake of the Cherokees. He owns a Grand Rental Station. He owns True Value Hardware and a lot of other stuff there. He's been very successful. My other brother got his degree, and he became an FBI agent, and he was with the FBI and retired from the FBI, and he's been with over security with Penny's there in Dallas and stuff like that, but he's been very successful, and I've been very fortunate. But the most important thing to me growing up for all of us was our education. Now Leo, my middle brother, got his education with Walmart. He got a very hands-on type education and was extremely successful with Sam Walton and them. And my other brother got his degree, and it allowed him to go on and become a very successful FBI agent. And my education has been just constant. I got joined the military and got into it, and got and I was enlisted, so I'm what's called a Mustang general officer. I became and then I was selected to go to OCS, and eventually I retired out of the military, and I got my 3rd star when I got out, or the time I got out. And but I commanded all types of units all the way up and down the line, and I'm qualified in educationally qualified, engineer, quartermaster, logistics, armor, and infantry, and I just always felt so strongly about my education. Like when I would become a lieutenant colonel, for example, I already started studying for the courses and things that I had to take if I was going to go any further in the military. And I got my command and general staff, everything done. War college is a requirement now too. And so anyway, I always was way ahead on education. So if I came up before a board, education was not the obstacle that would prevent me from being promoted or given a new command or anything like that. And I was always encouraging my junior officers to do the same thing. The best thing you can do in the military or in any other company is prepare someone to replace you. And that way you're very comfortable leaving. You feel like you're leaving it in good hands. And I always made sure I really was on my subordinate officers to make sure they got their educations done. And if they didn't, then they was in trouble with me. So I always made sure that they did, and so many of them have been very successful in the military. I counted the other day, and I think people that were under me at one time, I've got 14 of them that are now general officers. So I'm very proud of that. I feel like I contributed to that because I was such a maniac about making sure they got their education. But I want to tell you something. Success in life, it has something to do with the environment you're in, but the only thing that determines, the very single thing that determines your success, doesn't make any difference who your dad was, doesn't make any difference who your mother was, or what family you came from, or whether you had anything growing up. That doesn't matter. The key to your success is right between your ears. You're going to be successful if you believe in yourself, and you don't ever listen to the word no. Don't ever pay attention to the word no. You just do what you know you have the capability to do, and don't let somebody else judge you on what you have the capability to do. Because, I had no idea, except I wanted to do good. I wanted to be successful. And I don't mean monetarily successful. I wanted to be something that my mom and my dad and my family would be pleased about. That was my motivation. Money came, and I was very fortunate about that. I was very fortunate in the business world because I was in the Guard, so I had a civilian career and a military career. And I wanted to, and I was very fortunate in both of them. We built companies up, we sold them, we did all kinds of stuff. I was with a national company, NCR Corporation, for 20 years and went from just a salesman to being a regional manager. And I could have gone to Dayton, Ohio, but I just didn't want to move my family, so we started our own company, built it up when we bought it from about it was about a $3 or $4 million company, and we had a lot of debt, and we took it and paid all the debt off and built it up over about a 7-year period and up to about a $40 million company, and sold it. And then that allowed us to do a lot of other things, and I've just been fortunate to do that. But none of it, not one bit of it, would have been possible if I hadn't got the proper education. And I mean, even in the business world, I was always studying all types of financial ways to do things. I had a lot of people that were very smart, had been very successful, and I wore them out, getting information from them. And it's just like our foundation here. We started with nothing, and now we've given away 786 homes, about $189 million worth. We're in the process of to wounded heroes and their families, and we're in the process of giving, I don't know, by the end of the year it may be, I can't remember, but it should be anywhere from 70 to 100 cars, automobiles. And these aren't cheap ones. These are $30,000 to $40,000 vehicles. And so we're working. We just come up with some crazy ideas and figure out how to make them work. But our overhead is a little bit less than 5%. We're very, very proud of that. And we're going to continue. We're going to get a lot bigger. We're going to grow more. We're going to give a lot more homes away. And the thing that's so heartwarming is we've been told by the professionals that what we do, we've saved over 100 lives. I can't even get my arms around that. I just know that heartwarming, one of the most heartwarming things I had the past few years was Christmas last year. I just remembered that we had 1,400 adults and over 1,300 children in beautiful homes because of what we do. But the fact that we saved 100 lives, I just can't imagine how wonderful that is for all those families, because it's just heartbreaking to know what they go through, especially when these heroes are out there serving for us to give us our freedom, and then we have these kind of problems. And they have these kind of problems where they would lose their son or they lose their daughter. And we were part of saving their lives, and it's just incredible. We also work very hard to make sure we put them through a 3-year mentoring program. And again, this goes to education. We educate everybody on how to handle their funds. So many of them have never had that much in their life. They might have had $1,000 or so. So they get some of the best financial education that they could possibly get. for 3 years, they can't do anything as far as spending money. Anything over $500, they have to get our permission. We look at all their credit cards. We help them pay off their credit debt. And today, their debt is paid off in excess of $18 million that they do, and it's just so incredibly exciting to know that debt was taken off of them. And then after 3 years, we deed the home to them. And right now we have 98.6% of them still in their homes. But again, we couldn't do it if we didn't educate them on how to take care of that home. And we encourage so many of them to get their degrees and make sure they work on it. We got them coming right straight out of our programs, and while they're in our programs, going to school, getting their degrees, and they always are sending stuff back here to the office. Want to make sure I know that they are completed another semester or something like that. And I'm just telling you right now, if you want to make your life happier, continue every way you can to get educated, because then when the opportunity comes, you got the qualifications to take that opportunity. And but I encourage you to start your own businesses. Education, especially in the financial world, if you start your own businesses, you got to know how to run it. You got to know how to handle the financials. You got to get people involved with you with the legal side of it and get it all going. You can't just be a phenomenal salesman. You got to be educated on the business world. And so work if that's the direction you're going to go. But always put education behind you where you make it work for you. And if you do that, you're going to be very, very successful in your life. And I wish all of you the best. I appreciate your time.